Top SEDEMA official makes first official visit to Grenada to engage disaster management officials. We'll have details to this story and more in the National Report.
Do you know that you can lower your electricity bill by switching to energy-efficient appliances? By switching to energy-efficient appliances, you can help lower your energy usage. Your refrigerator, for example, is amongst the highest energy-consuming appliances within your home as it remains running throughout the day and night. Switching to an energy-efficient refrigerator can lower your electricity bill by up to 40%. As an individual consumer, I cannot impact global fuel prices. However, I can ease the burden of rising fuel rates by switching to energy-efficient appliances. What can you do?
GH'n, energizing our Grenada.
Welcome back. With the details to the news for Monday, October 10th, 2022, I am Sherry-Ann Noel. Executive Director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, SEDEMA, Elizabeth Riley, is in Grenada on her first official mission since assuming the position in July 2021. During an interview with the GIS on Monday, Ms. Riley says the objective of her visit is to meet with the team at NADMA to determine areas that are in need of strengthening.
It's really important for us to become very familiar at the coordinating unit with the new priorities of NADMA, particularly under the new leadership of Dr. Terence Walters, who has been recently appointed. In addition, I took the opportunity to brief Dr. Walters and the team at NADMA, including Ms. Hyacinth, on the new strategic direction for the agency for the period 2022 to 2027. And we're really trying to pursue a transformational agenda for the agency and position it for the future.
Ms. Riley says SEDEMA has noted that there are significant changes with regard to natural hazards across the region, and as such, dialogue with the relevant disaster management agencies is needed.
They're becoming a lot more intense. They're also becoming a lot more complex in how they're presenting. So we took the opportunity to discuss these things, to look at the areas where we can provide support for NADMA in the priorities on their programming. And I'll also have the opportunity to meet with the Honorable Prime Minister today to debrief him on the meeting and the priorities that we've talked through, and also to see how we can best support his transformative agenda as he pursues his tenure as leader.
National Disaster Coordinator of NADMA, Dr. Terence Walters, says one of his major roles is to look at the agency's strengths and weaknesses from a regional perspective, and as such, Ms. Riley's visit is timely. He says this is needed in an effort to bring all stakeholders together to strengthen disaster management in Grenada.
We can sit and examine the priorities and see how our programs in Grenada can be strengthened based on the priorities set by the SEDEMA coordinating unit and based on the opportunities that are available, for transforming our disaster management processes here in Grenada. So it is a really good opportunity for us to have her here so that we can have those discussions.
Ms. Riley will also visit Carriacou and Petit Martinique on Tuesday, as she says it's important to look at all geographic locations. The visit will include a tour of the Emergency Operating Center as well as the satellite warehouse. The team will also hold discussions with key personnel on the island to discuss their immediate needs. Moving along, the regional security system came in for high praise from Grenada's Prime Minister, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, for its efforts towards regional stability and its quick response to national threats and the mobilization of resources. He was speaking at a Thanksgiving service in Grenada to mark the 40th anniversary of the RSS since its establishment in 1982. The organization has intervened in many of its 7 member countries, with Grenada being the first to benefit from a deployment of officers in October 1983 to restore democracy after a period of political upheaval. In 1989, the RSS supported Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat following Hurricane Hugo. They intervened during the prison uprising in St. Kitts in 1984 and Grenada in 2004 after the passage of Hurricane Ivan. Most recently, in 2020, a team was deployed to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to assist during the eruption of the La Soufrière volcano. Prime Minister Mitchell says the RSS has become a reliable source of help in times of need.
Over these years, the RSS has also provided valuable assistance to several countries in the Caribbean region which are not member states of the RSS, stretching from Haiti and the Bahamas in the north to the Cooperative Republic of Guyana in the south. This assistance has taken the form of coordinated specialized security operations in response to natural and man-made disasters and unstable national environments, specialized training, security advice on pertinent national security matters, coordinated counter-trafficking search and rescue operations, mentorship in the prosecution of asset recovery and money laundering cases, expert technical assistance in digital forensics and other high-profile investigations, coordinated air transport for the delivery of COVID-19 vaccines, and transport to key public health and criminal justice officials and lab specimens for testing, among other things.
Also acknowledged the work the RSS is doing to address regional cybersecurity threats.
There is an absolute need for the RSS to provide systems which advance the protection of citizens conducting business in the digital space. The Eastern Caribbean, much like the rest of the world, is moving towards the use of this space to support national economies. This is evidenced by the move to establish the Eastern Caribbean digital currency. The RSS headquarters has commenced work to build cyber defense capabilities with training and the eventual implementation of the cybersecurity incident response teams. Central to the identification and incorporation of these emerging issues into national security frameworks is the acknowledgement of the impact of the security of citizens. This brings to light the need to transform state security institutions towards citizen-oriented organizations which are guided by acknowledging the citizen as central to the provision of security.
Member countries of the RSS are Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Grenada government is not just talking the talk, but walking the walk as it concerns improving working conditions and supporting the rights of all employees in the Tri-Island state. This has always been a major concern for the new administration, which before being elected into office on June 23rd, crafted its plans and programs that can be implemented once in office. Delivering a message on Monday to mark Solidarity Week 2022, Labour Minister Senator the Honourable Claudette Joseph highlighted a few areas where her government has proven its desire to advance the cause of workers.
To date, we have so far paid workers' salaries improperly docked in 2018, set up and operationalized the Pension Secretariat, and we are well on course to pay retroactive pensions by November 30th, 2022. Appointed and convened the Wages Advisory Committee, last convened 11 years ago under a previous NDC administration. Appointed and convened the Labour Advisory Board, which will give priority to recommendations for amendments to the Labour Code that will benefit all workers. Furthermore, we are pleased to have commenced the conversation on the need to regularize contract workers, not just in the public sector, but in the private sector as well. And we welcome the union's support in this regard.
The annual observance is guided by the theme Promoting Workers' Unity, Consolidating and Advancing Gains in These Challenging Times. Senator Joseph believes in order for this to be achieved, there must be unity between government and the labor movement. She says only then will solutions be found that serve the interests of all workers, the wider community, and the economy.
My government in these early days has clearly demonstrated that it has the best interest of all workers at heart, given the steps we've taken so far. We intend to move forward in this vein, expecting full cooperation, support, and solidarity from our brothers and sisters in the trade union movement, as together we move Grenada forward.
This is the National Report. More news after the break.
Prepare for hurricane. Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight candles will do. Tin stuff, garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. You hear? Prepare for hurricane.
Moving along, a boulder which for many years limited access and affected the operation of utility companies and emergency services to the Cherry Hill community in Carriacou is now being removed and result in easier access for residents. It has been removed through the joint effort of the Public Works Division in the Ministry of Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs and Maxo's Equipment. The company is owned by Maxwell Emmons, who provided the use of equipment free of cost and labor support. Minister for Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs and Local Government, Honorable Tevin Andrews, along with Permanent Secretary Javon Williams, were on site to witness the demolition of the boulder. Honorable Andrews, in expressing thanks to Maxo's Equipment for collaborating with the ministry, said this is the type of partnership he wants to see in moving Carriacou and Petit Martinique forward. After the stone's removal, construction will begin on 200 feet of concrete road and drains in the area. Minister for Social Development, Senator the Honorable Gloria Ann Thomas, and Minister for Health, Senator the Honorable Gaetan Jonathan Lacrette, have given their support to people dealing with mental illness during the World Mental Health Day messages. World Mental Health Day is observed on Monday, October 10, 2022. The theme for 2022 is Make Mental Health and Well-Being for All a Global Priority. World Mental Health Day is observed to bring awareness and educate individuals on the effects of the illness. Many aspects of mental health were challenged by the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, causing countries to increase investments for persons dealing with mental illness and mobilize supporting efforts. Minister for Social and Community Development, Senator the Honorable Gloria Ann Thomas, says her ministry will continue to be the voice of persons dealing with the issue.
As a ministry, we will continue to advocate for persons with mental illness and seek through public education to end stigma and discrimination against our fellow Grenadians. Many persons suffer in silence because of how society treats them. Our ministry wants to lend its voice in ending societal misconceptions about mental health. Although we have achieved quite a lot with scarce resources, there is still a lot more to be done for the mental health in Grenada. I call upon all listeners to join in the movement to champion the cause for increased mental health services and the need to promote good mental health for us as Grenadians.
In his message, Health Minister Senator Gaetan Lacrette said that accessible mental health services are paramount as countries strive to achieve Sustainable Development Goal, good health and well-being.
In conjunction with the Sustainable Development Goal number 3, good health and well-being, civil society organizations and ministries of health across the world join hands with the World Health Organization in championing that all people acquire access to quality mental health care and effective treatments that promote, protect the overall health and well-being of our people. Though the previously stated statistics represents a global footprint of the mental health pandemic that has emerged locally as a nation, we are not immune to the devastating effects of its illness. Celebrating under the theme, Making Mental Health and Well-Being for All a Global Priority, comes at an opportune time with relevance and a timely posture as the walls surrounding the stigma of mental health are falling.
Minister Lacrette also spoke to the ministry's mental health draft.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs, Grenada, is currently reviewing our draft Mental Health Act with a view to amendments that will speak to principles that will drive the provision of mental health services in Grenada. Moreover, we have seen the need for a wellness council that will be tasked with the policy mandate to promote a culture of physical, psychological, financial, and emotional well-being.
And finally in the news, athletes from the St. Andrew Anglican Secondary School SAS dominated the first preliminary round of the National Cross Country Championship, organized by the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture, which signaled the start of the athletics season. Athletes Leona Williams, Janie Williams, and Miguel Cape were among the top 3 placements. The Williams girls, Leona and Jania, placed first and third respectively, while Cape placed second in the male category. Second place in the girls category went to Anya Francis of Anglican High School. Livron Thorne of Ace Club took first place in the male category, while Shaquem Williams of South City Rising Stars placed third. Athletics coach in the Ministry of Sports, Albert Joseph, says that he was impressed with the turnout of athletes, which saw an increase in girls' participation.
The turnout was great today. We had 80 girls participating in the race. That's the most, since I've been in charge of the cross country, that's the most girls we have had up here at SAS playing field for the first cross country. Normally it's somewhere in the 40s, now it's doubled. The boys, we saw a decline in the boys. The boys usually be up between 40 to around 60. This one, it's 43 boys that took part.
The approximately 5 to 7K race, which was partly sponsored by Blue Bubbles, started on the outskirts of the SAS playing field onto Progress Park, Paradise Bridge to Pearls Airport through Dunfermline and Paradise back to Progress Park, ending at SAS playing field. The next preliminary round of the National Cross Country Championship moves to St. David on October 15, 2022. And with that story, come to the end of the National Report for Monday, October 10, 2022. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Sharianne Noel, thanking you for viewing.